So here it is, Sunday morning, August the 7th, getting ready to have a couple of sirloins cooked because I finally got my my wife and son really getting into the idea of eating more meat. So we'll see how that goes. It's funny how I was just talking about how difficult it is to get anybody to do what they need to do, but it looks like they're catching on. Hoping. Alright, so I'm sticking all these in the air fryer frozen. Take this salt extra. I hate to check these early, but I don't want them to overcook. I just want to double check. Let's see. Looking good. Holy mackerel. Yeah, he's still got a way to go. We got some farm fresh eggs here. Cooking them with some Kerrygold butter. I like to wash the eggs off right before I cook them. I don't wash them immediately, and I notice I'm glad that they don't either. At the feed store we got these from, because the eggs have a coating on the outside that helps keep them fresh. The inside will stay strong and ready. I don't know how to say it, but it's good for the egg, whatever it is. So you don't wipe them off until you're ready to cook them. I don't even know if they say you're supposed to do that, but I do because I don't want to crack the egg and get chicken poop inside the pan. Uh-oh, there's an egg on the flame. All right, Luke, come eat. Alright, let's see how this looks on the inside. Perfect. So good. Levi Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Come get you something to eat. Darn it. Keep ruining all the yolks. So this is a little steak and eggs for Katie and I to share. You can see they came out just perfectly. That's how we're going to start our Sunday morning. This is technically the second day my family has been deciding to join me on the carnivore diet. And they still eat some vegetables, so I guess they're ketovore would be the best way to put it. But they're going more heavily meat and trying to cut out some of the things that they're not supposed to have, like bread and sugar. They're cutting out all their sodas and their Arizona green teas and whatever else they've been drinking that's not good for them because it's loaded with high fructose corn syrup and citric acid, manufactured citric acid. For those of you who keep asking what is wrong with citric acid, look up manufactured citric acid and inflammatory markers and you'll get an idea. But anyway, it's exciting because this is the first time, and it's so funny because I just made that video the other day talking about how it's hard living with non-carnivores. They are finally coming around. And you know, I went to church today and the pastor brought up something that really hit home with me for what I'm doing with you guys here. Let me grab this meat out of the fridge and we'll talk about it. Oh, and guess what else came in today? My shirt. One of the ones I ordered from my own website because I wanted to be able to show you guys. I wanted to see how they felt too and how they look because this is the men's premium. I wanted to make sure a good one was available for folks. This one fits perfectly. I ordered a large for me. And, you know, I'm 189 pounds. I'm right at 6'1". So if you're in that same range, large will be perfect for you now. I don't know. But I do know that this was a very cool design that was done by, I think it's Lizzie Lowe, did the design for me. But what a cool design. Because this is the Lion Diet motto for me. Screw it. Get up and do it. I hope it's become your motto too, so that you can take control of your health, get your life back, and start being able to move in the direction you want to go in. life is still just as difficult to figure out, but it's a lot easier to get up and get it done now. And I want that for you too. So if you haven't done it, say screw it, I'm going to get up and do it, and come order one of these shirts from my merch store in the description. We're going to make some salted ground chuck steak today that I'm going to make for myself. Luke and Levi and Katie, they're already working on some chicken they're eating as well. It's just nice to see them coming on board with really getting serious about their health. You know, I didn't even like to cook hardly at all before this, and I hate grilling. I still am not a big fan of grilling. Air fryer is just so much easier. By the way, I'm going to have this entire pound and a third done right at 13 minutes. I'll flip them halfway through and let them sit for about 5 minutes. They're usually pretty juicy when I pull them out. I've splattered juice on my shirt doing that, so be careful if you decide to dig in early. So here we go, we're going to put these chuck burgers in. I salted them before I put them in the freezer. And then I like to add a little bit of salt when I pull them out too. Put this timer for 13 minutes, preheated to 450 degrees. I'll have some delicious chuck burger ready to go in just a few minutes. It's a little early to be eating supper, but I did have my breakfast a little earlier too. Sometimes I like to eat at noon and around 6 p.m. Other times I eat in the morning and around 3 or 4 p.m. So sometimes I only eat once in a day, except when I fast. But for the most part, 2 meals a day. Alright, here we are at the midway point. Just going to turn these over so they can cook evenly through both sides. Alright, here we go. We're back. It's been 13 minutes now. Boy, they come out a lot smaller than they went in. That should pretty well hold me over while I let those cool down. I usually like to take out the pan and clean that up. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll talk to you guys in a minute. You know, something that's kind of gone without saying while I've been doing this diet is that I make my own meals most of the time. You know, my wife used to make a lot of my meals for me when I was on the standard American diet. But when I started doing this diet, I started making everything myself because, I mean, that was just part of the taking control part of my diet situation. As much as I love what my wife would make for me, I knew I had to do something different than what she was wanting to make. I just decided it was a lot easier if I just do it myself, and then I don't have to make any excuses about what I'm eating or how it's cooked. And when it comes to meat, I want to make sure it's done right. So now this is all cleaned up and ready to go for the next time, and my burgers should be cool enough and ready to eat. Man, I thought I was recording this whole time. I've already eaten 2 of these chuck burgers. I guess I got to pay closer attention to what my camera says. But I was talking to you about these chuck burgers, about how they came out wonderfully. Didn't have any grease issues at all. Just perfectly cooked burger meat. I've been getting ready to eat more burger than I used to because with the boys and Katie starting to do a ketovore type of carnivore diet, they're doing natural potatoes and natural, you know, things that they raise themselves or that they buy from other farmers, that they're going to make from scratch foods. They're not going to get any processed foods. And they're eating a lot more meat after we started this morning with steak and eggs. So I'm going to be buying some more meat for all of us. And while I'm waiting to see how the transition goes, because part of the way it becomes affordable to eat this way is you stop eating out and you stop eating at convenience stores, because honestly, there's nothing there for you, especially if you're carrying your water around. You don't have any reason to stop and get something to eat or drink at a convenience store. Now, occasionally I'll go by a McDonald's and get a 3rd pound burger. Now that I found out they started cooking with butter again instead of vegetable oils. I don't know if that's true for all of them, but I know the local guy here was telling me that they don't use vegetable oil spray anymore. They use butter. But either way, I got to cut back the cost on my meat consumption right now because I'm trying to get my whole family on board. with eating less processed food, eating less of the foods that are designed to be cheap and high in calories but low in nutrition. Cutting out the seed oils, cutting out the sugar, cutting out the bread and the enriched this and that and the refined salts and whatever else. They're going to get down to a much healthier diet, and I'm very happy to hear it. I'm extremely happy to share it with you. I don't expect it to be a perfect ride to start with, but if they can get on board, I'm here to support them best I can. And that's one of the things I've found. I was telling you about the Bible study today at church. I've had several people in comments tell me before that I should be forcing my wife and kids to eat like I do. And the pastor was talking about today about how in your ministry, you're not supposed to seek to control people. You seek to influence people. You look for a positive response to what you're talking about, and you speak to them. If they're not positive to what you're saying, it's best to just not keep talking to them. You're not there to fight and argue with somebody. You're there to offer the truth. And if they're willing to listen, you talk to them about it, and you be relaxed about it. And he mentioned a verse where it talked about when you have a flock that you're responsible for it, you should be willing to protect that flock, just like the shepherd does. That the shepherd looks over the flock, not because he's being paid to do it, not because it's his job, but because he wants to, because he cares for those people. I don't look at what the numbers are anymore. I still advertise for some sponsors like Carnivore Crisps over here and Redmond. You can't see, it's off camera a little bit, but Redmond Salt I got sitting there. They've been some great sponsors for me on this channel. I asked them to sponsor me because I love their product, and if I can make a little bit recommending it, then that's fantastic, because I think it's a good product. And I say, if you'd like to have some, at least if you want to help the channel and you like what I've been doing here, you're buying it through me, so I get a little benefit from it too. And I appreciate that. So I thank you guys for watching. I thank you for your subscriptions. I love your encouraging words. And even those of you who have some negative things to say sometime, you keep me humbled. And you remind me to make sure that I know that what I'm saying is the right thing. Get healthy. Get healthy while you can. The world seems to be going into a dark place right now. There's plenty of channels that'll talk about all the darkness that's spreading around. I want to be able to encourage you how to face it. Be healthy. That's an important thing. Physically, mentally, spiritually, you need to tighten up. You need to make sure that you're doing the things that you need to do to represent who you are in this world, as a husband, as a father, as a mother, as a wife, as a child, as an employee, as an employer, whatever it is. Be the best one you can be. And I want to let you know that you guys are a care for me, and that's why I keep recording these videos. And sometimes I feel like what I'm bringing to you isn't enough. So I always try to give you something good, something useful, and something that I find positive in my life. I have my downfalls and I have my negative moments, but I don't share a lot of those with you. But I want you to know I face them because I'm human just like you are. And I get up and I do it. I say, screw it, I'm gonna get up and do it. Whatever needs to be done to do the right thing today. I hope you'll take that same advice. I'll talk to you later.
If we pay extra, could we maybe get some grease or fat?